This conference will now be recorded.
Kurt goes, he goes, I'm too old. I don't want to do it.
I mean, there's a lot there, especially.
There's a lot of the corner.
Tick, John.
Yeah.
I would start. Oh, I got 6 o'clock. Start the meeting in order. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have one amendment to add to the 8E for new business. It'll be support letters for remaining TIF Housing District income requirements. I believe you guys all got an email on that, but we need to add that to 8E. Other than that, I have no amendments. We just need approval of the amendments for adoption of the agenda.
I'll approve the agenda as amended.
Perfect.
Or make a motion.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Review the minutes from the regular meeting of March 16th.
I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes as written.
I'll second that.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Accounts payable, Kevin.
Looking at specifically 3 things here, the CETA payment for $10,850.83. I believe that's Curtin Company, right? They're doing a great job and fantastic for that payment there to keep them here. Then another fairly significant one here, number 78625, the League of Minnesota Cities Insurance Trust. As our property insurance keeps going up value-wise, we have significant payments there. And then another one over 5,000 was the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency, and just a routine fee there. Otherwise, I would make a motion to adopt the accounts payable as in a total of $199,489.71.
Second.
Any questions for Kevin? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Kevin. We'll open public comments portion. Individuals may address the city council about any item of concern. Speakers must state their name and limit the remarks to 5 minutes. I will close the public comment portion and we will jump to new business. 8A, ash tree removal in the park. Mike.
So we've got a lot of ash trees.
James.
We've got a lot of ash trees in the park that they're really taking a big hit now. I've got a price from Heartlands for $273 a tree to drop them. The city staff will take care of the cleanup of them. I think the big number is at $273. There was a total of 63 trees, but I don't know as we'll take out that many at this time. Just kind of depends on, we got to strategically kind of pull them out of there. Some are up by the campground and then some up by the pool as we get ready to do the trail and stuff. So they're starting to show some signs in the front of the park now too, but we did treat those first 11 coming in. So hopefully that treatment works on them, but I think we're going to lose the rest of them for sure.
I guess the only question I have, Mike, on this bid is grinding the stumps at $3 per inch. I mean, that can be pretty significant. Do we know a dollar amount on that? I mean, that could be several thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's in the past and boulevard trees and stuff, that's your going rate on that. We're
I mean,
not
I guess
gonna-
I
we're
have no
not
problem
gonna-
with the going rate. It's just.
We're not going to grind all of them, but the ones that are out in the middle of, we're going to have to get rid of some of them that are out in the middle, the stumps. We're going to try with the loader to push some of them out of there, but then there's some that are just too big to push with the loader, so.
But for budgeting wise, you ain't gonna know what that dollar amount's gonna be, so it's,
Do we need to prove an extra few $1,000 on there just for stump removal?
No, well, no, we're not gonna take all of them 63 trees, that's just the ones that we looked at. I know we won't get to 63 trees this year in doing that. So I think there's plenty of money for that.
I mean, I guess my concern or my question is by standing grumps, I mean, it could be an extra 4 or 5,000 that are not on here. Cause I mean, a tree stump could be 20 inches at $3 could be $60 a tree stump, right? I mean, I don't want to get another $3,000-$4,000 grinding stump fee that we're not
No,
expecting.
that's all gonna be included in this bid. That'll, and I know what you're saying, but we're not gonna use up that 17,000, whatever it is for 63 trees.
Cause you're only gonna get to 40 of them, so
Well,
you'll use, or whatever.
I don't even know we're gonna get to that many, to be honest with you.
Okay.
We could make a motion to approve this and say not to exceed a dollar amount.
Well, and like, I understand what Mike is, I just didn't, I mean, I know we talked about this the other day, that I thought we were gonna get all the trees done, which is a lot of trees. But if we have 17,000 and another 4,000 or 5,000 stump grinding, now it's a $20,000, $21,000.
No, we'll stay within that 17,000 for
With
sure.
the trees you get down this year and grinding the stumps that you'll do this year, and then whatever you don't do will
If
carry
you
into
don't
next
want it
year.
to exceed that 17,000, I mean,
Well,
we'll incorporate them stump grindings into that 17,000.
I did not know that we were not gonna get them all done this year, so that was my only question.
Yeah, and I don't know, we won't get them done in 2 or 3 years, I'm afraid. There's just so many trees out there that,
Are the city workers, they don't do chainsawing, or is it in a position where it can't be accessed well?
we'll do chainsawing, but there's too many of them that are too big, and they got bucket trucks. They'll drop them from the top down. They're over the trail and not the best place. We'll do the chainsawing as far as cutting them up, getting them removed and stuff like that, so.
Is this something that the DNR regulates how we dispose of them? Or they just, will they haul to the brush?
There was some regulations on that early on in this. Now, since
Just get them down.
it's affected by all Goodyear County, they don't have any regulations on
I
it.
think 3-4 years ago, you had to keep it in certain counties, but
Right.
now since Emerald Ash is everywhere, they don't care where they dispose of it now, so. Yeah, I think 3-4 years ago, there was some regulation, but there isn't now.
And then I think Todd brought up a point, even, didn't you talk about possibly doing some burning in the park and some of the branches and stuff?
Yeah, because I had talked about, because originally they were gonna drop them and then haul them all the way to a brush dump and burn them. Why not make a pile in the park where we burnt here a couple of years ago and just burn a couple different times versus hauling it and having the wear and tear of the park and heavy equipment. So Mike and I talked about that.
And we will be getting rid of the logs. The logs will be gone. It'll be just
The branches and
branches.
stuff.
And that stuff is gonna burn fast as the shape it's in.
So I think that's kind of what your plan is to just do some smaller piles and burn on location versus hauling them through the park to the brush dump and then burning them.
Is that, would it be turned into being split and stacked and sold in the park for revenue or for campers? No.
Yeah. Leave that up to the Public Works, and if they're saying that that's not feasible, then, or not,
I think the man hours,
the man hours might
the
not make it
benefit
worth
for the
that.
$4 bundle ain't gonna be.
Yeah.
Plus, don't we have somebody coming to pick it up to help us save
The
the
big
cost?
the big
Yeah.
logs will be gone, yeah.
It's a good thought, though.
you want me to make a
And-
motion now?
I guess that then we will apply for another grant as that comes through. Hopefully next year we'll get some grant availability for this.
Yeah, so we just need a motion to approve the ash tree removal.
I'll make a motion to approve the ash tree removal not to exceed $17,200 this year. Right?
There it should be quite a bit less than that if you're not going to get all those trees, right? You're only looking at maybe 90, maybe a quarter of the stumps.
Yeah, and I think that's just however you want to do it, I think it would be, pretty safe on the, 17,000 just to make sure it's covered, but
Then it's just covered and they can do as many as they.
Get done for
Even that
the
are so
17,000.
dangerous that they need to get done.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
And whatever is not used this year will just stay in that account, so.
So if we don't use it this year, we'll use it next year, because we have 180 trees of ash trees in city property roughly, so
And we
that's
set-
why we want that grant.
And we set up a specific account, so everything will stay in that account.
I mean, we got trees and then stumps and then we got replanting, so we got some work ahead of us in the next 5 years, so. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Mike. 8B, support letters for regional transportation management study. Brian?
Yes, this is a Southeastern Minnesota League of Municipalities request to do letters of support for a couple of different bills that are up at the Capitol. This first one is a TMO, a Transportation Management Organization. What we've discovered is since the pandemic and we used to have the Mayo buses that went to all these communities. And a lot of people rode those buses, including non-Mayo employees. You could pay to ride it. I took it to Rochester to work when I worked at the city and just had to catch a connecting bus. But so that's all gone now. Most Mayo employees, a lot of them are working from home now, and they're not bringing that busing program back. So then a discussion came about, well, maybe we could look at a regional transportation system within the number of counties. There's a bunch of counties there: Rice, Goodhue, Dodge, Steele, Wabasha, Olmsted, Winona, Freeborn, Mower, Fillmore, and Houston. So there's a group that's working on this transportation question, and they're to the point now where they'd like to have some dollars to do a feasibility study. As to what a TMO would look like in the area. Is it feasible? Is it needed? Is there, is there going to be support for it going forward? But the first thing is to do this study and see, what it would look like. We do have the Hiawatha Transit now that they do a nice job kind of in a smaller area. So this, we don't want to step on their toes either, but this is just a support for $350,000 from the government to do a study. No local money at this point. Maybe down the road, if the feasibility study comes out that they should proceed, then possibly. But right now, this is just a support from Zumbrota for this bill to do a study.
Do they have the grant already? They haven't applied for it yet.
Yeah,
this is
supporting that.
Yeah, this is a bill.
Before they apply for the grant.
Yep,
Yeah.
This is a bill at the legislature. The bill has been written and is up there, and this is just, the Assembly is asking for communities to voice support if we're in support. And I think I think the study is a good thing. It could turn out that we would have a bus going to Casson, or we'd have a route going through here to Goodhue, or to, who knows, Red Wing or wherever. However this study comes out. So I think to take a good look at it is prudent. So I think if we can send a letter of support, that would be wonderful.
Any questions for Brian?
So I did pull up their little pamphlet thing on their website, their draft template. One of the things that their primary push is to have a partnership, public-private partnership
Correct.
with it. So
Yep.
they don't know exactly what that looks like yet, but it would conceivably require taxpayer support then to keep operable once it got established and run. So
Yeah,
That's
taxpayer
just-
support fees, fares, who knows? You know, that's what the study will kind of ferret out, what's the best way to do that. Yep. Yeah, and there is more information out there available. This has been talked about for quite a while. And it's just gaining more steam now.
So we need a motion.
Yep.
I'll make a motion to support the, what is it called?
TMO.
TMO study.
And that's Senate File 3087 and House File 2560. And these letters will go to Representative Jacob and Senator Drazkowski.
I'll second.
Any further discussions? All in favor?
Just for clarification on this, so there's already currently on this bill, over $300,000 already apportioned for a study in St. Paul and Minneapolis. So this would be adding another $350,000 to an existing bill
For these counties.
for these counties
these
down here.
counties.
Yes,
Correct.
for this Rice, Goodhue, Dodge, Dale, Wabasha.
Correct.
Yep. Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Passes 4-1-0. Thanks, Brian. 8C, sale of impounded vehicles. Patrick, Chief Patrick.
Okay, so I got a memo for you in regards to a couple vehicles that we have in impound. One is a forfeiture that looks like it's got some value to it. The other one, after reviewing it a little further, I think it's going to be better off sold as scrap or someone's project. So I don't think I'm going to try to sell that at auction. I could probably get scrap price for that vehicle. But I'm thinking of trying out Houghton's and see how well the one does. And, but yeah, they're both eligible to get rid of them. The other one, the junkier one, was abandoned in July. Subject was never able to get the vehicle transferred properly and of course pay for the fees. So, but I guess I wouldn't have either. But that's all I got for you on that.
So we just need a motion for sale of the 2 impounded vehicles, or at least one for sure and the other one to the junk.
Yes.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussions? All in favor? Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Chief. 8D, North Zumbro Sanitary District update. Mr. Grudem.
Yes, and like I said, last meeting, we're trying to keep giving updates, consistent updates to all of the councils within our proposed sanitary district. I just itemized a whole bunch of meetings on there. We had 2 or 3 days each week with sometimes one 15-minute meeting in St. Paul, but other times, I think we had 6 one day. And they all went really well. Everybody's very supportive of the project. I think it's a great way to spend bonding dollars. Everybody understands the need for wastewater, that we can't just shut the wastewater plant off when it gets old. And then we're gonna need to do something. But there's still politics in St. Paul, believe it or not. So we're trying to navigate our way through that and see if we can't get on either the House bill or the Senate bill or both. And we'll just see. We've got real good support from our local legislators. We encompass 3 House members and 2 senators, and they're all very supportive. And Prairie Island has been wonderful. We're going to try and put together a meeting with our mayors and their tribal council, or some members of their tribal council, down at Prairie Island, just to talk about the project and solidify their support of the project. So yeah, we're just being seen and heard. It's going to be a little while before we go back up there. They're on break right now till next Wednesday, and then they'll be back in session all day, every day after that. So we're going to go up the week after, the week of the 17th, and stand outside of the House floor and the Senate floor and grab whoever we can and walk with them as far as bonding committee members or our legislators, and just be seen and heard and make sure we keep our project front and foremost in their minds. So yeah, it's a lot of effort going into it. Hopefully it pays off.
Perfect. Thanks, Brian. 8E, support letters for removing TIF housing district income requirements. Brian.
Yes, this one is an ad. This was the ad. This is another one of those SEMLEM priorities. They requested that we bring this forward. This one's a little harder to explain. We did the Keller Bartman project. We had the part of the TIF requirement was 40% of the units had to be reserved for those making 60% or less of household median income. And with a project that size, that works fine. But there's other smaller projects that we could effectively use TIF on if we didn't have some of those constraints. So what this bill is looking to do is get rid of that income requirement on for outstate communities, smaller communities. It works great for big communities. Smaller communities, it kind of hampers our ability to use this tool to attract housing, businesses, things like that. So by supporting this bill, we're asking to give some local control over the TIF tool. Not that we wouldn't put in our own income requirements and different criteria like that. We probably would. But we've got the option and the local control if they were to pass this bill. It originated in Chatfield for one of their projects, and the more we talked about it, and then the SEMLEM communities talked about it, there was a motion to have SEMLEM back it as an organization and look for our communities to voice support for this bill as well. So same thing, letter of support. I just need all you guys' signature, approval for Zumbrota to support this, and then your signatures. So that's what I know about the TIF bill.
Is that building our only TIF project, or have there been others?
We've had multiple housing TIF projects over the years. A lot of them have been based on the average median income for Zumbrota. We also use TIF for some of our industrial projects. Atlas Cold Storage has had TIF, multiple TIFs. The Armory building on the corner, Armory Apartments, that was a TIF. Grover's was a TIF. We in Outstate don't have as many tools to drive economic development here. We don't have people that want to come. Say we want an apartment complex. There's been a housing study done saying that the city of Zumbrota is X amount of units short. There are some developers that would want to come in that maybe would not want to be hampered by that income requirement, so they could rent all their to whomever. They don't have to say 40% for somebody or whatever. And it's another tool in our toolbox to make us more competitive. And what I like about it is it's not, personally, it's not taking money that we have and shoving it somewhere. We don't have that money from the increase in the tax base yet. It's just taking that, and we're just going to be waiting on it, paying that developer back for appropriately incurred expenses. And then when the duration of the district is over, then that property comes back on the tax rolls and the money goes back to us, the county, and the school.
Any more questions for Brian? I just need a motion to approve or support the letter of removing the TIF housing district income requirement. Any further discussions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passes 5-0-0. Thanks, Brian. Reports, Brian.
Nothing, believe it or not. I don't think I've got anything.
Perfect. Bev, do you have any reports? Or is Kevin going to take care of that? So we'll wait till we get to Kevin. Perfect. Chief? James? Kimberly? You look nice today, Kimberly.
Well,
I was just sitting here, I'm like, oh, she looks nice and dressed up. Thank
Council day.
Mike?
Just that Jefferson Drive project is right around the corner. That's going to kick off here. If they haven't already started, they were going to start doing some saw cutting, bring in some signage in, And then Christ Lutheran's getting really close to, well, they had their groundbreaking, whatever, on last Sunday. So they're getting really close to moving some dirt and getting that project going too. That's all I have.
Perfect. Thanks, Mike. I just have one quick thing. Mike stole a little bit of my thunder, but Bob and I had the opportunity to go for the ribbon cutting for the Christ Lutheran, which had a great turnout. The facility, I don't know if you've seen the maps and stuff of it. It's going to be a nice facility once it gets done. I know as a city standpoint, we have some things to work out and what we're going to do with 9th Street and water and sewer, but I think Mike and I and Brian have talked a little bit about some of those. But yeah, I just want to think it was a great turnout. It was cold, windy, but they had a great turnout, and I'm kind of excited to see how that project turns out and benefits the city down the road. So that's all I have. Sarah?
I'm good.
Bob?
We're just gonna go along with month, we did start some saw cutting and things.
Joan?
I just had a lady approach me and was just inquiring about senior citizen availability for like a center or places to meet. And I didn't know if anyone else had been approached, but she was like, I'm trying to reach out to everyone. And then I did talk with Brian a little bit, and he said that it's a bit of a struggle trying to find a place in the city right now. So, but I was just letting you know that somebody popped in.
I had the same lady come to me and I told her.
I don't know what her name was, but she goes, I'm gonna try to reach out to
I
everybody.
told her to write a letter because she didn't want to come down here, but I said, write a letter and we'll read it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
then
I think
we'll give it-
she's been in here too, I believe, or called.
Yeah, I mean, I don't remember her name, but, and she's very pleasant. I was just
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I don't know.
Yep, and we know it's a need, and we've talked about that, and that's on our list of things that, on our big needs list. So
And I
we're
told her
trying,
about, you know, we'd love to build a community center, but that's many years. She goes, I'll be dead by then.
Me too.
Well,
So.
yeah, and we're brainstorming
Yeah.
options of
Yeah.
spaces that, you know, we get a lot of requests to go, a place to play cards. You know, so we're kind of thinking,
He's right. I
okay,
think
where
that
could
was
we?
more what it was, like
Yeah.
a social place.
Yeah.
And I was just like, well, I'll bring it to the,
Yeah, and Pine Islands is often mentioned, but I think the senior citizens in Pine Island developed
I
that
mean, they
place.
can come down to the Goose in the day and play cards.
Well,
if they
yeah.
want to.
Well, we could send them there, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's not busy.
Sure.
So they can sit there all day if they want to and play cards.
Okay.
I was gonna say that to her, but she was not as nice to me. She was a little grouchy to me and she kind of blindsided me. I didn't think of that, but I was like, well, they could come down here. There's,
yeah,
you know.
I don't know what she was looking for.
Yeah, I don't know.
One of the seniors, a place for the seniors. I'm like, okay.
But they sure can.
Yeah, and she's not alone. There's a lot of seniors out there that,
That's what I was gonna ask you. Is there more people that have been asked? Because it's the first time I've ever heard someone ask me about
oh
it.
no, we've heard.
But
And
is
then
it for playing cards, or, I mean, what is the,
that's what we mostly hear. They
Is
need a
that they
place
want
to
a
play
place
cards.
Get together,
And I'm sure they could do that at the VFW too. I don't know where
or the library.
they're. In the
She
day,
approached me too, so.
I was gonna say, I'm like,
it's not busy during the day at the VFW or the Goose, so, you know.
Yeah, no, that's a good
Some
idea.
people don't want to go to for liquor surge. I think that's honestly what.
Oh,
could
maybe.
be.
That
But
might be
maybe
something.
at the VFW, in the
Back room.
back room, you know, maybe we could make a little thing where we give them some money for rent for that.
Sure.
I mean, we could ask them.
Yep,
I don't think
absolutely.
they would mind that, but.
Perfect.
One happy Easter, everyone.
Thanks, Joan. Kevin?
I've just got the Zimbabwe area ambulance March meeting highlights here. The order for the new ambulance has been placed, and the expected delivery is 3 years plus. Thankfully, we have that ordered now.
yeah.
What's the price tag on that?
Price tag is locked in.
Just under? Perfect.
They're continuing to set funds aside for that purchase. Then there's going to be a fundraiser planning for mid-May. This is the second year doing this. Last year, they raised $20,000 and were able to purchase stretchers. So hopefully it'll be another fantastic fundraiser.
What did they do last year? I can't remember what they did for a fundraiser last year.
It was similar to what the fire department did, but a different menu.
And then we also did a mailer, and the public mailer actually got the bulk of the funds. So we'll be repeating both of those activities.
It was an open house with a tour and things like that.
That's a lot of money for an ambulance.
Everything's expensive.
I
Yeah,
thought it would be more than that, so.
yeah. Anything else, Kevin?
That is it.
Thank you. Meeting adjourned. Ryan needs signatures
Don't leave yet.
from all of us on that. Sent you.